Auditing Theory Chapter 9. Auditing in CIS or IT environment. A CIS environment exists when a computer of any type of size is involved in a processing by entity of financial information of significance to the audit, whether the computer is operated by the entity or by a third party. The overall objective and scope of an audit does not change in a CIS environment. A CIS environment may affect the procedures followed in obtaining a sufficient understanding of the accounting and internal control systems, the consideration of the inherent and control risk, the design and performance of tests of controls and substantive procedures. The auditor should have sufficient knowledge of the CIS to plan, direct, and review the work performed. If specialized skills are needed, the auditor would seek the assistance of the professional possessing such skills, who may be either in the auditor's staff or an outside professional. In planning the portions of the audit which may be affected by the client's CIS environment, the auditor should obtain the understanding of the significance and complexity of the CIS activities and the availability of data for use in the audit. When the CIS are significant, the auditor should also obtain an understanding of the CIS environment and whether it may influence the assessment of inherent and control risks. The auditor should consider the CIS environment in designing audit procedures to reduce audit risk to an acceptably low level. The auditor use either manual audit procedures, computer-assisted audit techniques, or a combination of both to obtain sufficient evidential matter. Risk assessment and internal control. CIS characteristics and consideration. Organizational structure. Characteristics of the CIS organizational structure includes concentration of functions and knowledge and concentration of programs and data. Concentrations of functions and knowledge. Although most systems employing CIS methods will include certain manual operations, generally the number of persons involving in the processing of financial information is significantly reduced. Concentration of programs and data. Transaction and master file data are often concentrated, usually in machine-readable form, either in one computer installation located centrally or in a number of installations distributed throughout the entity. Nature of processing. The use of computers may result in a design of systems that provide less visible evidence than those using manual procedures. In addition, this system may be accessible by a large number of persons. System characteristics that may result from the nature of CIS processing include absence of input documents. Data may be entered directly into the computer system without supporting documents. In some online transaction systems, written evidence of individual data entry authorization, example approval for order entity, may be replaced by other procedures such as authorization controls contained in computer programs, example credit limit approval. Lack of visible audit trail. The transaction trail may be partly in machine-readable form and may exist only for a limited period of time. Example, audit logs may be said to overwrite themselves after a period of time or when the allocated disk space is consumed. Lack of visible output. Certain transactions or results of processing may not be printed, or only summary data may be printed. Ease of the access to data and computer programs. Data and computer programs may be accessed and altered at the computer or through the use of computer equipment at remote locations. Therefore, in the absence of appropriate controls, there is an increased potential of unauthorized access to and alteration of data and programs by person inside or outside the entity. Design procedural aspects. The development of CIS will generally result in design and procedural characteristics that are different from those found in manual systems. These different designs and procedural aspects of CIS include consistency of performance. CIS perform functions exactly as programmed and are potentially more reliable than manual systems, provided that all transaction types and conditions that could occur are anticipated and incorporated into the systems. On the other hand, a computer program that is not correctly programmed and tested may consistently process transactions or other data erroneously. Program control procedures. The nature of computer processing allows the design and internal control procedures in computer programs. single transaction update of multiple or database computer files. A single input to the accounting system may automatically update all records associated with the transaction. System-generated transactions. Certain transactions may be initiated by the CIS itself without the need for an input document. Vulnerability of data and information and program storage media. Large volume of data and computer programs used to process such data may be stored on a portable or fixed storage media, such as magnetic disks and tapes. These media are vulnerable to theft, loss, or intentional or accidental destruction. Internal controls in a CIS environment. General CIS controls. To establish a framework of overall control over the CIS activities and to provide a reasonable level of assurance that the overall objectives of internal control are achieved. General CIS controls may include organizational and management controls designed to define the strategic direction and establish an organizational framework over CIS activities, including Strategic Information Technology Plan, CIS policies and procedures, segregation and incompatible functions, monitoring of CIS activities performed by third-party consultants. Development and maintenance controls designed to provide reasonable assurance that systems are developed or acquired, implemented, and maintained in an authorized and efficient manner. They also typically are designed to establish control over project initiation, requirement definition, system design, testing, data conversion, go-live decision, migration to product environment, documentation of new or revised systems, and user training, acquisition and implementation to off-the-shelf packages, requests for changes to existing systems, acquisition, implementation, and maintenance of system software. Delivery and support controls designed to control the delivery of CIS services and include establishment of service level agreements against which CIS services are measured, performance and capacity management controls, event and problem management controls, disaster recovery, contingency planning, training and file backup, computer operations controls, system security, physical and environment controls, monitoring controls, designed to ensure that CIS controls are working effectively as planned. These include monitoring of key CIS performance indicators, internal or external CIS audits. CIS application controls to establish specific control procedures over the application system in order to provide reasonable assurance that all transactions are authorized, recorded, and are processed completely, accurately, and on a timely basis. CIS application controls include control over input, designed to provide reasonable assurance that transactions are properly authorized before being processed by the computer. Transactions are accurately converted into machine-readable form and recorded in a computer data files. Transactions are not lost, added, duplicated, or improperly changed. Incorrect transactions are rejected, corrected, and if necessary, resubmitted on a timely basis. Controls over processing and computer data files designed to provide reasonable assurance that transactions, including system-generated transactions, are properly processed by computer. Transactions are not lost, added, duplicated, or improperly changed. Processing errors, i.e. rejected data and incorrect transactions, are identified and corrected in a timely basis. Controls over output, designed to provide reasonable assurance that results of processing are accurate. Access to output is restricted to authorized personnel. Output is provided to appropriate authorized personnel on a timely basis. Review of general CIS control. General CIS control that relate to some or all applications are typically interdependent controls, in that their operation is often essential to the effectiveness of CIS application controls. Accordingly, it may be more efficient to review the design of the general controls before reviewing the application controls. Review of CIS application controls. CIS application controls which the auditor may wish to test include manual controls exercised by the user, controls over system output, program control procedures. CIS environments and standalone personal computers. A personal computer PC can be used in various configurations. This includes a standalone workstation operated by a single user or a number of users at a different times, workstations which is a part of local area network of PCs, and workstation connected to a server. In a standalone PC environment, it may not be practicable or cost-effective for management to implement sufficient controls to reduce the risk of undetected error to a minimum level. After obtaining the understanding of accounting system and control environment, the auditor may find it more cost-effective not to make a further review of general controls or application controls, but to concentrate audit efforts on substantive procedures. CIS Environment Online Computer Systems. Online computer systems are computer systems that enable users to access data and programs directly through terminal devices. Online system allows users to directly initiate various functions such as entering transactions, making inquiries, requesting reports, updating master files, electronic commerce activities. Types of terminals used in online systems: general purpose terminals, basic keyboard and screen, intelligent terminals, and PCs. Special purpose terminals, point of sale devices, and automated teller machine. Types of online computer systems: online real-time processing. Individual transactions are entered at terminal devices, validated and used to update related computer files immediately. Online batch processing. Individual transactions are entered at a terminal device, subjected to certain validation checks and added to a transaction file that contains other transactions entered during the period. Later, during the subsequent process cycle, the transaction file may be validated further and then used to update relevant master file. Online memo update and subsequent processing. Combines an online real-time and online batch processing. Individual transactions immediately update a memo file containing information that has been extracted from the most recent version of the master file. Inquiries are made from this memo file. These same transactions are added to the transaction file for subsequent validation and updating of the master file on a batch basis. Online inquiry restricts users at terminal devices to making inquiries of master file. Master files are updated by other systems, usually on a batch basis. Online downloading uploading process. Online downloading refers to the transfer of data from master file to an intelligent terminal device for further processing by user.